Hi, I'm Ben.
I'm Boriana.
And this is our video channel for YouTube called Camper Fandango. Welcome on board. Today's episode on Camper Fandango, we're going to show you how to install a new indicator switch, and we're also going to fit a dash grab handle.
Yeah.
Okay, so very important really before we get started with any of this, what we should do is disconnect the battery, because it's an electrical item and we're messing around with electrics, cutting wires and things like that. The last thing we want to do is have actual current in there and cause a fire. Now, if you're in Europe, usually your battery negative terminal, which is the one you want to disconnect, not the positive, is held on with a clamp with a nut, which is either 10 or 13 millimeters, usually. I'm not sure around the rest of the world what size. You'll probably be a ½ inch or something like that. Here we go then, we're going to disconnect the battery. The battery is in here, and we've got the earth terminal this side, which is held in place by a 13mm spanner, nut. So we need the 13mm spanner. So once the nut's loose, don't take it right off, just loosen it. You can wiggle the cable, the connector, and it just lifts off, like that. So we'll put that, tuck that down the side so it can't make contact. Now everything on the electrical system is safe to work on. So we'll close this back up. So the first step here is to remove the kick panel, and for us that's only 2 screws. So I've got one up the top, one down here. If you've got a standard kick panel, you might have a few screws, but it's always stuck in this little channel at the bottom, so you sort of prise it up a little bit. Out from here, and there you go. That's it. Just managed to drop the screw. I'm going to poke that back in so we don't lose it. Okay. The next thing is on the column, on the steering column, we've got this. This is the old one, which no longer functions on the left-hand side, because they do wear out, the little contacts inside. So we're going to take this off. And for this, we need a flat screwdriver. Everything we should need today for this one is here. I've got some wire strippers, I've got a very thin little flat screwdriver, another one electrical, slightly different size, some side cutters, and this is our brand new one. So we have, on this particular bus, because it's a 1960 and it's an American spec German bus, so it was built in Germany and exported to America. It's got 6 cables. We need to marry up to our connectors down here. Now this is the indicator relay, and here is a little connector block which has the rest of the wires going in. So you can see on the new one that it comes with, just broke my glasses, I've just snapped my glasses. The new one, it comes with all these female spade connectors on, and because we've got a chocolate block, we don't need these spade connectors. I think there's one of them that we do, which is going to go into the relay, and then all the rest are just bare ends that go into these connectors. So what we're going to do is start by disconnecting this. Okay, so we undo these two screws. There's one there and one there. Little fiddly things, but once you've got them undone, pops apart like that into two pieces. Now there's a little piece in the bottom of this which you must remember not to lose. This can fall out very easily, and without that it doesn't clamp up properly onto the steering column, and whenever you do the indicator switch, the whole thing moves instead of just the switch, which is very annoying. So there's that. We have this little sort of funky custom switch on here which shouldn't be there, and then on the inside, if you need to take this apart to see the switch, which we will just for demonstration purposes, there's two little screws just here which you undo. And then this slides straight off of that. We're going to swap these over because if you notice, I've had these painted to match, and this is a sort of an ivory yellow which doesn't match. So we're going to swap that with our original one. But this is the offending item, that's the switch, and basically there's lots of little tiny contacts inside here that over a period of time they just sort of wear out and it stops doing what it's supposed to. And unfortunately you can't unscrew that to repair it because it's got all these little sort of little round bars that are kind of peened over, and it's just a nightmare to try and sort of take all that apart and put it back together again. So the next step is down the bottom here we have all the connections, and we're going to make sure that we take note of each wire colour combination before we undo them, because there's nothing worse than taking everything out and then you don't know where the wires are supposed to go. So we've just cut the cable and this piece is now free, and we've just got to pull it through here like this. There we go. So now it means we can set this one up and get everything. Of course it's got different screws in. These are little Phillips heads. So this new mechanism is really quite stiff. So before I install it into our nicely colour coded part, I'm going to lubricate the mechanism here. So I'm going to spray it top and sides, get it all in there, and make sure that it all works itself in there. There we go, I think that's a bit better. So we're going to install this into our nice colour coded part. This is the top surface, and the wires go to the bottom because they've got that nice little groove that they go through. Nice and tight. There we go. And this, we need to feed through the little hole. There's a little hole here in the dash pod where we pulled the cable through from before, and we need to feed all of these cables. It's easier to feed them through a couple at a time because of the ends on them. And the last one, there it is. And then we have the outer sort of protective sleeve that needs to push through. Because I'll be able to see what I'm doing. And here it is. So that now just needs to go up and over the dash tray. Basically following the route that it had before with the old cable. And we've got it. So there it is. And now we've got to do the changing of the cables here. There we go. Now, we could be able to test this if we reconnect the battery. So now it works. We can demonstrate if you go to the front. Same at the back. You go around the back, let's see if it's all working.
Yeah.
So all's good. It's just a case now of reinstalling the kick panel inside the cab here. And that's another job ticked off the list. So this. So this is the new or newly covered dash handle. Now this is a deluxe, an older deluxe, and you can see the shape of it is sort of triangular in profile. I think all the replacements you can get are like the Beetle one, which is sort of kind of like a flat, and like the later split screen ones. That's why I was keen to hang on to my original triangular shaped one. But the complication with that is that the little washers that go underneath them, the beauty sort of washers, I haven't found anywhere that does these. You can see the shape of it. Well, this is better, this is non-broken. It's like a sort of rounded triangle. I haven't found anywhere where I can get new ones. So, hola, buenas tardes. So this, there we go. That's for this side. So unfortunately we're going to have to use this cracked original one. Now the reason I've got it covered in leather is because all the original material that was on it was so sun bleached and cracked and damaged that just with a little covering of neoprene and some nice cream leather sewn on, looks great again. And to be honest, the cost was pretty minimal. So there's two holes in the dashboard. Literally just gonna pop them through the hole. I say pop. That one's being a little stubborn. There we go. Get these little washers lined up as best I can. There we go. Now the backing bits are these sort of pressed channel washers. So it probably doesn't matter too much, but I feel that the thicker part of this pressed channel washer, if you can see, one's thinner and one's thicker. It's rounded. I find that if you put the thicker piece at the bottom, when you put it over, I think it fits better. I could be wrong, but that's just my thinking. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get the washer and the nut and the press washer channel type thing all in one hand, pop it up over the hole, and just wind it on finger tight. I'm going to do the same with the other one. Pop that one up there. And this one is a little bit more tricky because there's a clock in the way. Just a little bit of patience and it's there. Now the socket that fits those nuts is a 15mm socket. And it's a very strange size. I'm not sure why it's a 15mm socket, but it is. So we're going to go up. I've got the long extension. I just find it easier to connect up and keep the ratchet out of the way when I have the extension. So I just want to make sure that this is, yeah, it's going in the right way. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. And then just basically a little bit of doing up. A lot of stuff in the dashboard here. I don't want to over tighten it because I don't want to damage these quite old plastic sort of washers, but it needs to be tight enough that it's not going to come loose or wobble. So there's one. Here comes the other. There we go. Now, that is nice and solid. Something else ticked off the list.